Mortal Kombat, one of my favorite fighting games of all time. Liu Kang being one of my favorites. The styling, dynamic, clean-cutter kung fu warrior that is Liu Kang, champion of Earthrealm, one of my favorite characters in fiction. Mortal Kombat is one of not my favorite fighting game, and next to For Honor, the one I'm probably the most skilled at. But besides talking about Liu Kang and the gloriousness of it on screen, today's video, as you see by the title, I'm taking a character from Mortal Kombat and seeing how long they would last in the lands between, walking down the same road as I've done with other case of videos of the same topic, with the Locust being the first iconically, the hour-long video, Shameless Plug to Go and Peak, which a video I think that all around is a great case of topic video, but could have been done better as a whole when it comes down to being a video of its quality and capability, when it comes down to editing and other stuff, but as far as the point, we're going to be discussing if Taven, the lone solemn hero of Armageddon story mode, aka of the story of Mortal Kombat's devastation, apocalypse, Ragnarok, all that shit, and see how long he could last in the lands between. Radagon of the Golden Order, the enforcer side of Queen Medica, top dog of the Elden Ring Pantheon, arguably from a narrative main game perspective, as one of the most intimidating and powerful figures that the Eternals will have to face at the end of the game. When it comes down to his power broker, he will be the most strongest opponent that the Eternals arguably have to go and face when it comes down to the general layout of the game. So with this being said, consistently he would be at his lowest end multi-solar system, standing over multiple former people that people in the high-end part of the Elden Ring Pantheon scale over, like Malekith, Placidusax, Godfrey, and others who should have comparable scaling to being that, and then Universal, because he would scale over all these people's greater laying of stuff, scale over one of his children, in this case Ryan the Witch, who's able to create a universal pocket dimension within the second phase of Renala's boss fight, and at the same time holds all these different hierarchy statements and stands for the case of the power for magic. He also, because of the fact of him inheriting the Golden Order and the Greater Will, with being second Elden Lord technically, would harvest the power of the Earth Tree a little bit within his being, making him reasonably universal. When it comes down to speed, he would be easily massively hypersonic. He's able to go ahead and deflect / parry multiple projectiles that can be considered that. He's able to go ahead and become literal light of the Golden Order as an incantation, and be able to speed blitz and boom around the Tarnish, and at the same time throw light and different commission and stuff and scanning over a bunch of these different characters. Reasonably should get him massively faster than light. You could proudly get him, as again he is narratively and gameplay wise one of not the toughest opponent the Tarnish would objectively need to face. So with that being said, you can get him because of the Tarnish scaling over Placidusax and other characters that scale to him, or are flat out stronger than him. People like Bale, the case of him, Radagon himself, same time with Queen America, Penite Perceive Godfrey, maybe some others that are able to go and fight beings or even exist in a plane absent of time or beyond time. So with this being said, this will make the Tarnish consistently low end, infinite to inaccessible speed, meaning that Radagon does not need time or any matter of that reality to transfer his speed. His speed is beyond that scale. As you see by the title, who would win? Mesmer, one of the first children of Queen America and Radagon, first of the demigods, Fire and Brimstone Lord himself, or Frieza, Lord of the Universe, Emperor of Evil, and one of my favorite villains of all time, to arguably my favorite, and arguably the GOAT of anime villains. Ghost of Tsushima 2, aka Ghost of Yote, is going over a great deal of controversy because of the main character's actress, aka Erika Ishii. She's voiced Valkyrie from Apex Legends, and the reason why she's going over a great deal of controversy is because of the case of a bunch of things that a lot of people don't agree with, which is simply reasonable, because of the fact that she is a person that believes a lot of radical things, considerably sexist, hypothetically racist, depending on the case of different views and statements that I haven't looked too much deep into because it doesn't really change my overarching point. Here, it better more proves it, even if the case of her being bad, and same time as well, possibly people not fucking with the fact that Jin's story is not continuing or is not complete, because I, like a lot of others, believe that Jin needed one more game to fully solidify and finish his character, and I spoke about this when it came down to my talks across the board about Jin, and most importantly, my view on the character and how Ghost of Tsushima 2 should be slash hypothetically should have been, depending on how I feel about this game. But none of this involves Erika Ishii. And I'm not going to be having a full intro with this. I'm just going to be talking over my overarching opinion of the matter and more. I hope you guys will enjoy. But to simply say it, I don't give a fuck about any of the controversy going on in the grand scope. Tarnished of Elden Ring versus Thor of God of War. Two characters of Gaming 2022. Characters I've talked about multiple times, but both characters are a part of my most popular video on this channel that has 1.4k views. Shameless plug. Thank you for the views, thank you for the support, thank you for the love. But as well, with this video being a versus battle, I explain why the Tarnished versus Thor is not a debate. And to this day, I still feel like it is not, which is why obviously the title and the main premise of this video is this. But the difference in this is obviously a lot of time has passed since that video. The DLC for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree came out, and a lot of people have played it, including myself most likely later on, but not at the time of recording this intro. I made a community post basically asking who would win, the Tarnished after main game and DLC versus Thor post God of Ragnarok, which would not mean death, but would basically mean Thor knows how he died, he's rehabilitated, he's reformed, and he's a better man, more mentally stable, more strong, more calm, more reckon of the vigor of what it means to be a god of thunder. But it is a landslide. 80% of you believe the Tarnished will wipe the floor with Thor, and Thor is at like 22 to 23%. In this video, I'm going to be explaining everything that I've recatched up on, reformed knowledge on about the Tarnished of main game, obviously give you a review of what Thor from God of War is like, as it's pretty simple, and most importantly, explain the greater feats, hacks, and capabilities of both people, especially with the scaling of the DLC, and explain to you why, to this day, why Thor is still the stronger of the two, and why it is not close.
I love you, baby. I can't tell you how much I missed you, and how I wish we could reenact those lovely times as children under the blossom tree, flowing in the wind left and right. But I also remember the pain that we shared so unfortunately. I wish I could have given you a better life as my flesh and blood. I love you, oh sister, but I could never be your protector. I wish for your forgiveness. Oh baby, I mean that in no insensible way. Just wish to blossom your day. Please forgive me for my fortunate absence. I blame myself for your pain. Please take me in your arms to know that I want to make a better, sweet life for my dearest boo in unfortunate times.
The The tarnished and the renowned, the hero of the lands between, arguably the technical fourth Elder Lord, and one of not the most powerful character within the Elder Ring verse. First is the Time Patroller, the hero of Dragon Ball's cosmology, macrocosms, and all around the hero of time and space. One of the most powerful characters within the outer wall case of scaling of the Dragon Ball verse, and both similar characters, both custom created characters for the case of games that allow you to create your own characters. With Elden Ring, Dragon Ball Universe 1 to 2, which in this case if you consider within the game's technical story structure, where Dragon Ball Universe 1's Time Patrol is someone different, but Dragon Ball Universe 2's character is different as well, and also arguably more powerful, which I'll explain more how. I will be using Dragon Ball Universe 2's character. Dragon Ball Universe 1 and 2 are both busting games and stellar stories in some different aspects, right? Very unique. But when it comes down to why I'm doing this video, besides them being similar, is both some ignorance and also some glazed takes about both characters I want to inform, tell you all a little bit more of the education and greater investment of knowledge that I put myself in with, and most importantly, just spill a little bit more about the Tarnish, a very unique and interesting character, the power scale, and I've changed my opinion about how I've scaled him in the past multiple times. My limiting factor when it comes down to him talking against Thor in a fight still stands. I think Thor slams the Tarnish still, not as easily like I thought before, but I don't think I need to provide more case of reason than I already did in my video. If you guys want to debate about that, I'm still open. I'm going to debate about anything that I've said, still considerably, even if I've changed them or admit that I'm wrong in them, whatever the case may be. But simply put, man, I probably believe that the Tarnished is one of the most interesting characters to talk about, and the Time Patrol is as well. But enough talk, let's go and get into it.
When it comes to honor, I move with old Nick for brutal finish and killing till ain't no other and pop up like a Oni. We don't discriminate, straight eliminate. You already know it moves. I'm a show hair, I'm a warrior monk, but I got no compassion, no sympathy, no spirit. I'm a straight demon on the monster, move for vengeance. Straight moving with the 7 master weapons, malice, club, moving with my spear, with the sickle, with a garden tool, moving with our vision club, moving with the whole piece of matter, clock cocking, with a whole saw, with the move of a fairy and beast in human skin, like I'm fury with a whole millions, with a whole kiss I'm at a nightmare, with a whole kiss I'm at a beast in human skin, like I'm just a Brody, with a nightmare moving with a whole kiss of fairy, moving like Mike Tyson on the hunt, ready to kill, moving like I'm craving hunts and moving fucking ill, moving with the violation only in the mind, moving like Michael Myers, too fucking sublime. I'm moving with vengeance from my father, Master Takashi, straight killed in front of me. When I was a little baby, I'm trying to move with a whole kiss of matter, killing instinct. Fuck with me, you gon' fear a nightmare on the scene. Make sure I remember with a name, big guy, samurai, straight nightmare to the lands of the Maya. Fuck with me, you gon' be feeling one higher. With a kiss of matter, killing ancient blood scene. Yeah.
Anti-heroes. They exist in all forms of fiction, but I feel like the most interesting play of these characters are in video games. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing two anti-heroes of different forms. Jason Brody, the titular protagonist of Far Cry 3, the best in the series of Far Cry, who goes down a road of insanity to save his friends, but more and more craves bloodlust like no other, and becomes a beast in human skin. First is Jin Sakai, last of Clan Sakai, the ghost of Tsushima, who goes down multi-case of trials and tribulations to save his home, his country, the people he loves, and sacrifice tradition for the better means of his people, while facing the Mongol Empire and facing the cousin of Kubla, grandson of Genghis, Khotun Khan. In today's video, like the case matter with my video with Apollyon vs. Astria, I'm going to be comparing, analyzing, and digesting both of these characters, engaging truly who is a better protagonist for the case of their games. This is going to be different from the case of matter of my video with Apollyon vs. Astria in the sense that we're talking about protagonists and the way that they are. How this is going to work is going to be by the same sense of comparison, slate sense of compare, but in this, like I said, it is going to be off of now, instead of the case matter of 7 things, now going to be 8 things in comparison. Introduction, design, purpose, impact, power play, themes, source of gameplay, and finally, final verdict. Hope you guys will enjoy. Apollyon of the Blackstone Legion versus Astria, aka Warmonger of Orcos. 2 of the titular case antagonists of the Froniverse. Two characters are very interesting and intricate in different forms of the case of the opposite split of war and destruction. Two characters have been compared multiple times in the case of matter for the lore of For Honor and why one or the other is bad, or in case of one being good or the other, with this being said. But obviously in today's video I'm going to be analyzing both to determine who is better, like the case of there people more deeper in-depth analyzation of it. I hope you guys will enjoy this video, and the way that I'm going to be doing it with analyzing the lore is going to be off of 7 things: introduction, design, purpose, impact, power stand, theme, and game point. I'm going to elaborate on all what these mean, some of them being self-explanatory, some of them not. Talking about the case of Apollyon, one of my favorite video game villains, one of my favorite villains in fiction, one of the greatest villains Ubisoft has ever conjured, and in general, just a dope-ass character and a profound story with the case of matter of a character and other case of matter of stellar things from the For Honor story mode, from the case of matter of the For Honor story mode being 2017, all the way to I feel like where the For Honor lore has some crack showcasing within early 2020, 2021, arguably, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, I hope you guys will enjoy. Let's go ahead and get it in. And I just kind of want to take a break for a second. I still got plans to do shit. I've been working on shit. I've been writing. I've been typing. I've been trying to work around whatever the fuck going on. But it just hasn't been the best overarchingly for me in the grandstand because of how things are. And I just all around have been trying to go ahead and get around whatever, and it hasn't really been going the most sweet to find for me. But I'm, you know, working on it when it comes down to the case of matter of work ethic and different matter of creation spurn and different cycle of different shit that I'm putting together. I'm coming together in the best sense of way that I can, playing some shit, having stuff in mind. And with this video, it is also for me like to update on some different matter of plan of action that I wanted to go ahead and do or put together, right? So yeah, pretty much it when it comes down to my shit. My wife is okay though, with this being said, if you wanted to know, out of hospital. The main stress stuff is just mainly keeping low. We fed. Craven's coming in. I've been taking care of her. She could go and see the kids. My wife is a dime thing, dime mother, wifey, all that shit. I thank God for having her. I've been trying to just to chill. I think I'm probably give my kids some program to go and get them a little bit more out the house, seeing about some stuff. I've been working hard on different matters of shit, like I said, but it's been a mixed ball thing. Since my mom, it's mainly the fact that, again, she's the best person to live with, I'll be around, and my wife is not like my mother. I don't think I can blame anyone who doesn't, but just simply put, she all around has stress pulled so much that it's kind of been impossible and unsensible to really try to cling to some good bond shit as I live with her, and that kind of gets impossible. I'm not trying to throw my mom full in the mud, but that's just kind of like for reasoning for why, if that makes sense, if you wanted to know in a greater form deal why. So
Motherfucker!
Thor from God of War is a character I already talked about beforehand within my Why the Tolerance for the Store is Now Debate video. Shameless plug. Go check it out. Everything that I said in that video still stands. A little bit more insight to the case of Thor, but at the same time a lot more understanding of some different stuff with Tarnish. But my winning factor still corresponds to play when it comes down to this. Thor is obviously way stronger than Tarnish. It was very obvious. But when it comes down to what I'm going to be talking about with Thor, I'm just going to be reviewing over the stuff I already said in that video. Thor will be stronger than some matter of strength feats and speed feats in the case of young Kratos within the matter of post God of War 3, as he was able to beat repressed / nerf Kratos at the start of God of War Ragnarok. Showed himself to be the strong man of the Norse pantheon of God of War, stronger than his little half-brother Heimdall, son of Odin and 9 mothers, stronger than his little brother Balder, who was going bang for bang, hit for hit, bing for bing with Kratos, and would have been able to kill him possibly by different accounts if Atreus' chip mistletoe arrow was not on his chest, as he got accidentally stabbed with that. And we all know that the only weakness to Balder is the case of matter of mistletoe, as he is immune to all threats, physical or magical, in the words of Mimir. He's shown multiple times that he's somebody not to play around with, and no matter what you believe when it comes down to Kratos fighting him at the end of God of Ragnarok, whether him being reasonably, trying to go ahead and go all out, but not trying to kill him, or holding back to a good extent. He was still going bang for bang with Kratos and pressuring him in some different aspects, and at least for how I see it, the way Kratos is going about shit, he would not necessarily have a problem really putting hurt on Thor and injuring him to all hell, as he showcased multiple times that he's about the energy. So this would easily make someone like Thor, especially scaling over Jormungandr demonstrably and hitting him so hard he sent him back in time before his own birth, low multi-complex multiversal on multiple forms to mid-complex multiversal. But when it comes down to speed, would easily make him infinite to immeasurable to arguably irrelevant, with scaling over Heimdall and Baldur, scaling to Kratos, being ridiculously powerful, having Mjolnir, which allows him multiple hacks to be able to channel his thunder, and at the same time allows him the capability to have the crazy hack of doing something plus 6D, which is hitting somebody back in time before their own birth. It's also the fact that he splintered Yggdrasil, the thing that holds all 9 realms, and with the case of someone like Baldur and someone like Kratos, having the capabilities to all scale retroactively to each other, with Baldur being able to 3-shot Jormungandr, even though Jormungandr could not see him where he was hitting him, and he was getting hit from the side that he could not tell. He also was trying not to go and hurt Kratos and Atreus and possibly kill them, with them being inside of him, pause, as he was getting hit by Baldur. Okay, he was taking great A back shots from Baldur and was not trying to kill them while they were inside of him. So, with this being said, scaling over both of them, and Baldur able to scale to Kratos and arguably possibly kill him if he did not have the case of the mistletoe of Atreus with him, and at the same time Thor multiple times showcasing the capability to shake all the 9 realms to do something crazy like that, and Kratos and Baldur were doing damn near the same thing. So, simply put, my man Thor is a big behemoth, the red jelly giant, and multiple times showcases the capabilities, feats, power, experience with killing a bunch of giants to be a man to be reckoned with. So, with this being said, this character would be a very tough challenge for Virgil, but what does Virgil bring to the table in comparison? How does he stand to the herald of Ragnarok?
Completely giving away your position. What idiots!
Heimdall, the son of Odin and 9 mothers. I can't even explain how that's the case. The wielder of Gjallarhorn, herald of Ragnarok, and watchman of the Aesir, is one of the most trusted sons of the All-Father, and one of the most renowned case of sons of him for being a skilled, crazed fighter and having abilities like no other. He is a man that's very cocky and all about himself because of his naturally born gift of being a god of the Aesir, Bifrost. A Bifrost glare / look that allows him to have the capability of precognition, aka foresight. This allows him to read people's minds and intentions, allowing him to have a preset mindset of what you're going to do before you do it, or when you're about to do it. And so, this allows him, with his super speed, he's been accounted to be a speedster, and literally look at the footage. I mean, you have to have super speed to be moving like this. He's built different, okay? And can move around a person no matter what they do. Able to slap around Atreus, able to dodge and move around Kratos, tag him here and there, and just pretty much just play people like a bitch. He's never been hit before by multiple people, and he doesn't even remember when he got hit. If I had to suggest who hit him from headcanon, it would be Thor, because he's afraid of what Thor would do to him after peeking into his eyes and throwing the arrow down that he catch from Atreus. And most importantly, the fact that Thor overscales him, as I stated multiple times in the case of matter of different videos, and it's just narratively shown. And like within the case of why the Tarnish versus Thor is not a debate video that I made, go check it out, shameless plug. We obviously know that Thor is the big dog of the Norse pantheon, except for Odin, the All-Father himself. But yeah, Heimdall pretty much can move around people like no other, and this is a thing that he's been using for years to pretty much easily deal with niggas like no other. And this is possibly how he was able to tame his pet lime Goldthopper, which he used in combat against Kratos, and wielding Gjallarhorn, a device that was made for the cause of Ragnarok, when need to come into play for the end of the Aesir and the staying sense of the occasion for better form purpose of a new world. Gjallarhorn was entrusted to him, Heimdall, and this allows him to go ahead and preserve the end of Ragnarok coming into play through the end of Asgard as well, because whoever blows in to Gjallarhorn opens all the 9 realms and pretty much awakens hellish hate coming to Asgard's doorstep. And as the Watchman of Aether's Wall, aka the wall all around Asgard, he pretty much secures that capability. But besides the case of Priest Sight, with his skill and renownedness and capabilities, he has a great sword that is similar to the case of Freya's Great Hunter's Sword of Asgardian Steel, and he uses it with great precision, even though he has not used it in a very long time, and kind of just feeble flocks it around. He has Bifrost, uses defensively and offensively. Bifrost breaking down a person with being a kind of sense of poison, but really he's just like a upstand of damage when it comes down to outputting a great deal of pressure on a person. But also he has a capability to slow down time and move like time is slowed down through a hack or base physical, as he does use his body to do it, allowing him easily, with also outscaling Kratos and Atreus, and multiple times showcasing the capability to dodge and move around people like the Flash, would easily get him infinite to immeasurable speed pretty casually when it comes down to the case of matter of movement, and even irrelevant depending on how you perceive him in comparison to someone like Kratos, what is being said. But there's an argument that the precognition / the case of matter of him having a preset mindset of what Kratos is going to do, there's a little bit more easier leeway within the ability to get around him in between correspondence and movement. But besides that, he has a capability to regenerate with using Bifrost, and has multiple showcasings of being able to dynamically move around people with his movement, and uses Gjallarhorn as this kind of little feeble crack thing. Again, he doesn't blow into it because of the eventual fate of bad, but the bombastic blow that comes with the case of the horn is something to take in consideration. But yeah, that's pretty much Heimdall. But in the case of matter of everything else that needs to be explained for how he is in comparison to Virgil will be explained. But to say for this general sense of like what he can do from a battle stand, it is a very mixed thing, because again, his attacks or anything else is kind of contextual as he faces people that are fucking fodder in comparison to him, but he never has consistency really defining his capabilities of this and this and that and the third. But I'll go ahead and explain that more. You can make an argument with the fact that Melania, in the words of one of the former directors / great case matter of a source within the case of Talk, as he is a executive producer and great head runner within different Souls games and Elder Rings story, and he's going to be a big part in the case of DLC, saying that Melania was fatigued, meaning that in the case of matter of the fight against Radon, aka at a later cusp of the fight within the case of the Shattering, she got tired, and Radon, respecting her as his little half-sister and just simple honor, wanted to go and fight her at her best. And Melania ain't no bitch, so she decided to go and run up regardless of being tired, meaning that Radon fought a fatigued Melania, and they still had a draw. Now granted, it doesn't take away their scale or reasonableness, but it does mean, especially with other case matter of wording, that the fight would have played different, or simply had an actual victor instead of a draw, that she could have actually defeated Radon without having to plume, or at least do it the way that she did. She plumed, possibly not knowing the reason, but the fact that she killed, again, multi-case of innocent people, destroyed the entire country's ground of goodness, and played nothing but case matter of havoc all upon it, is a great A form of genocide, and another batch of more sentences to come, but that's just, at ground level. With this, would be having to play a great deal of 20 different forms of fines mixed with case of 20 life imprisonments. So yeah, I mean, it's simply put just bad. Next we have attempted murder, arguably. So this is a two-way stretch, as you can argue, yes, she's in a war, and regardless of Mikola wanting her to go about this, as a general that has to defend her kingdom and being seen as the true overarching lord, as she does everything for Mikola because of devotion, obviously, as this is her little tentacle brother, as them being twins, and just the pure fact that she wants the best for her people, could be argued not to be simply a sense of just a voluntary premeditated form of grade A murder for no reason. This is simply an act in the matter of war. So agree, disagree with this, but you can consider her attempt to kill Radon arguably attempted murder, as from a moral and all around in the grand scope reason, Radon does not deserve to die for what she's doing, as Radon has not shown any ill intent to Melania at this point, has never talked with Melania before this, arguably, except for the meeting of the demigods at Lindale when Godwin was still alive, and most importantly, has never shown any interest in gaining power besides the Elden Ring or simply to defeat Morgoth. And so, I don't see this as a justified reason to presumably kill him. And regardless of them knowing themselves as family, even though this pantheon is pretty tight-lit to where all these people know they were related in some way or another, I think from a moral objectivity, you could consider this to be ill means and objectively attempted murder. But from a war stand and political discourse, this would not be considered. So if we do count this as attempted murder, this would be in the first degree and could easily have life imprisonment or simply about 15 years if we go by the general life imprisonment sentence. But for now, from a illegitimate facto thing, I'm going to go ahead and count this off. Even if, again, from a moral and arguable objectivity, there's some reasonable account to not address this as the such. Again, effecto, not sing, you know what I'm saying, within this. So, we'll cross that out for now. Starscourge Radahn is a character that I've talked about multiple times on this channel. As y'all know, regardless of reset or original, this man is one of my favorite characters of video games, and next to Thor from God of War is definitely one of not my favorite character of 2022 for video games. But besides all that bullshit, Starscourge Radahn, King of the Battlefield's Lion, the Red Famed Behemoth, and Conqueror of the Stars, is a very powerful character in the Lands Between. He has power like no other and ran to go ahead and be one of the most revered characters in the Elden Ring verse, living up to damn near the same heights as Godfrey, first Elden Lord, / Warlord, King of the Badlands, the first Tarnished to become Elden Lord, and next to the case of our character, the Tarnished, with an Elden Ring, is the only Tarnished to be the case of matter of the most renowned and profound being within the Lands Between, because of the record for how much he did for the case of matter of his stature as being mortal, but doing things like no other mortal has ever seen before. Starscourge Radahn will perform his iconic feat after learning gravity magic so he doesn't crush his great horse, his great steed, Leonard, and conquer the stars, and later on with greater case of matter of adapting, testing, and practicing in full, developing the greatest matter of magic of the Carians on a higher stand, more than the case of matter of his mother, arguably, even though there's more to be talked about with her, with the case of being able to use this stuff to control stars on a multi-case way, especially with the constellation. To be able to do these feats would easily make Radahn at the lowest end multi-dwarf star level, but consistently to be able to scale to stars in movement and speed to them at the rapid succession that he would realistically have to do, as he conquered all reasonable stars to be preset and seen within the Lands Between, aka crushing them, as is said within the feat of the case of matter of the emblem that showcases how he did this feat, would make him multi-solar system level to galaxy level if you wink on a Gyarados, but consistently would be from a solar system to multi-solar system level case of matter of feet, and easily would make him hundreds of thousands to millions of times faster than light, but in the greater controlling of the stars on a greater case of matter of whim, and being able to use this in combat in a full arsenal sense would make him easily massively faster than light on a multi-case millions to billions, arguably even trillions, ridiculously fast person. He is also one of the most skilled demigods, and arguably in the grandstand of speed, mixed at the same time prowess, is the most skilled, as he was able to scale to Melania the Severed, the most profound demigoddess within the Lands Between, for her great skill and capabilities beyond comprehension, and all around he's a demonic form figure when it comes down to terror and being, as she's a woman that's sly, efficient, and brutal in execution, as she is able to make Godric the Grafted be trembling in fear, which is technically not feat, but just for the record, and at the same time leading none but terror across Caelid for the case of her little brother, technically, because of the fact that he is stuck in the child's body when he's actually not a child, and being a period and obviously being old as fuck like the rest of the demigods is obviously a grown man. But her technical little brother Mikola, the Imperium, would go on to Caelid to go ahead and face him, and Caelid, the mightiest plane of the Lands Between besides its plateau, would stand against her, and with the great general Starscourge Radon, the forever famed lion, would stand against her. In the words of his little sister Rani, as being the oldest of Renala and Radagon kin, with being older than Predator Rykard and Rani, and the strongest of the children from arguable sense from this a physical standpoint, maybe not all the way in hacks considerably with Rani, would go ahead and lock horns in combat with Melania, and they would be drawing blades like no other and draw out. And then in this, as someone like Starscourge Radon was on his last knee, struck down Melania's right arm, and in the last this effort to go ahead and full put down Radon, would stab herself upon him and release the great scarlet blossom that would lead to the case of Caleb being covered in AIDS. This would not kill Radon entirely. In spirit, it would kill him, but would not disperse this man off the census, as instead would make this man relatively farag out, and this man would now become a decaying, rotten body of himself, but still be there, which then culminated to the case of the Tarnish, if you will, to give him an honorable death in Caelid. Starscourge Radon is a very powerful character, as I obviously said, and with his greater case hacks, he has gravity magic beyond comprehension, multiple ways to utilize stars in multiple forms. With Leonard, it allows him to go ahead and move fast and in general, but within his prime, obviously with feet and having multiple showcasings of crazed, dynamic, splitting edge forms of movement, using Twan like Sundowner, will make him a very powerful, fierce foe to go ahead and face. And the word of Sir Gideon is a ferocious warrior, and even in his younger days, losing to Morgoth, he was still able to go ahead and stand against him in the siege of Lindale to go and try to take the Elden Throne during the Shattering. And can fly, has electrotechnokinesis, arguably with electricity and spurge of different powerhouse capabilities beyond comprehension, and is just a beast. But let's see how he stands against Gojira. Saiyans, the most powerful race in the Dragon Ball universe, a race originally on the planet Tuffle, through the case of them coming from a desolate world, and breeding, growing, into the case of the iconic barbaric race of conquerors later on, with a capability to turn into ferocious beasts, grow immensely strong, and having history like no other. They have expanded to being pirates of the galaxy, becoming one of the most feared races for their cunning, tenacious skills, ferocious capabilities, and their legendary power beneath their skin. But in today's video, as you see by the title, we're gonna see if these legendary warriors of the Dragon Ball world could conquer the lands between, a realm of a whole different meta ball game for the general echelon of Saiyans, with demigods, powerful magicians, sorcerers, tarnished, glorious battles that await them. In this, I'm going to be explaining a lot more than this, as obviously the base meta of Saiyans would get fodderized. I'm going to explain how this works. It's a very interesting idea to me, and I want to shout out Goji Chronic, Chuck, and the case, surprisingly, ironically, Seth for this video, as he has had talks about the case matter of the Saiyans in the case of dragging a whole different matter of the Elden Ring Pantheon for the mug, possibly, mainly specific Goku, and a different matter of talk, I think. But I'm not going to be talking about like the higher echelon of Saiyans in this, obviously, in specific to only one different form, right? But yeah, I just want to go and make that clear with this being said. I'm obviously going to elaborate enough case matter of gibberish. I hope you guys will enjoy. I'm going to see you in it.